Hi, my name is Ivan Fune. I'm an international media coach for pastors and ministries. I want to thank you for watching this video. My experience in media has been such a phenomenal ride and such an inspirational one that today I'm very excited to do what I think I was called to, that I know I was called to do, and that is to help pastors and ministries get their message to the people that message is intended for within the vicinity of where they are. That is what I believe I need to do, and that is what I want to help you with today. So my journey started in 2004 when I got saved, and immediately I just had this amazing unction for ministry. I went to my pastor and I said, what should I do? And he said, you should go to Bible school. That's the first thing that I did, is equipping myself for the work in the ministry. I went to Radboud Bible College for 3 years, and in my second year I started working at a church and got ordained as a youth pastor. This is where I started really getting into how ministry and media being used together is really a powerful tool for people to reach people, especially the younger generation. I was very fortunate to be in this environment because I got exposed to not only the sound desk and the sound ministry, getting the audios out to the people that wanted to hear the messages, and doing videos for promos and ads. But we were also broadcasting on television, and obviously that was a great experience. We were editing, we were doing the videography, and later on through the youth ministry that I was blessed to establish, we started using the youth ministry as volunteers in the church, and we started to run large portions of the media production and the media experience within the church. Working in youth ministry was such an amazing experience because we used media elements that we were exposed to during that time. Like the Matrix was really a big portion of what we were exposed to in our understanding. We used SpongeBob, SquarePants, and all sorts of other media and things that related to young people. And we used those elements to bring in young people into a space where we got the right to speak to them about the gospel and about Christ. Using media, you must understand, is a very powerful tool in getting people engaged in what your message is all about, pulling them in, and then sharing what you believe God gave you to do. And that is what I want to help you with in this program. 2 or 3 years later, I left that youth ministry into the capable hands of the person that I trained to take over from me, and I went into the secular world, which was a great experience for me, and I feel that that was my process, that God was taking me to what I'm doing today. While I was in the corporate world, I taught myself how to code websites, and drawing from all over the internet, I started getting together and collecting different media things like videos and audios, and that had to do with revival. And I started closely following many of the revivalists of the day and learning revival history, and putting all of that into one platform that people could access this rich history and these traditions that helped us get the church established to where it is today. I made this available on this website and producing different media formats that young people could engage with. Not only was it this platform, but at the time, iPods were very popular, and we imported generic products from China, and we put all of this stuff on a device that you could listen to, and we made it MP3s, put it on this, and the different formats that we used was obviously sermons, but we focused on small snippets of really impactful messages, just portions, and laid music over them, and we put it onto this with PDFs and all sorts of different media things that got people into a mindset of revival and being excited about what God is doing. We took these devices and we made them available to the body of Christ, but mostly young people, and you can see how this was the perfect tool at the time to reach young people with what God was doing. In 2007, I wrote my first book. I wrote that book in 3 days. I had a method I was using, and that is something I teach in my program. 14 days later, the book was published and available. Fortunately, I only made 100 copies. I printed 100 copies and gave that to the people that I feel God had me write that book for. But that experience that I had, I then used, and I started blogging online around publishing and teaching people how I did this and my experience around it and how you can make money from that. In 10 months' time, I had 10 different people writing for this blog all over the world. And in 2012, we won an award for Best Publishing Blog on the Internet. Obviously, it's a great accolade and something that I add to everything that I've accomplished so far. But this experience was so rich and I learned so much, especially content creation, community generation, interaction, and how to provide value to people online. Early in 2010, I started my own business. It was really an amazing ride, and I did that because I kind of was forced to. I got retrenched and I took all the experience that I had building my online knowledge and my online media experience, and I established what you would call an agency. We worked mostly for corporate companies like pharmaceutical companies and some other projects that we had in between. But here I really cut my teeth on content creation, communicating to the right audience, and delivery of your content on the right distribution channels. It was very successful, but I felt I still didn't give the world the value that I was supposed to give them. Having an agency model was amazing, but I felt that the client could get the best value if they knew what I was looking at and what my processes are. And so around 2012, 2013, I changed my model over to coaching. And this is really where I started being very fulfilled, because I started teaching people what I know and how I apply myself online, creating content, developing communities, developing an audience that wants to hear from me and that wants to buy stuff from me and that interacts with my stuff, and just this audience that is receptive to everything that I can give them. Obviously, I was coaching clients in the corporate world and we're looking at different products and different spheres, but I was coaching them, and what I didn't know back then is I was moving in a direction where my purpose was going to be really fulfilled. In the middle of 2015, I met a man of God and I started working with him, and that is where a lot of my experience when I'm working with churches was developed, because I took what I knew was theory and I started applying it within the ministry context. You got to understand, by this time, I had almost 10 years experience, not only in ministry, because I had that youth ministry experience that I did that twice. I've been an assistant pastor before. I've worked in children's ministry as a teacher and a facilitator. I've done Bible school teaching. So my experience in ministry was vast, and I knew about the different departments. But not just that, but at this point, my digital experience, everything that I knew about online, started culminating and coming together to what I call is the perfect place in my life. And this is where my purpose really started coming through. As I started working with this church, we started with the youth ministry and I don't know how that happened, but because I was familiar with this environment, I started working with them and we developed this platform, not just the different platforms like distribution channels like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, etc. But I started teaching them how to create content that was going to be exciting for their audience. At this point, obviously, it was young people. And that's something that I will give you a look at and let you understand that you have to look at who are the people that you have to talk to, that you want to talk to. Every platform that you develop, if there's an objective, you develop a platform for that. During our time together, I will teach you how to develop content to speak to a specific audience. Like this youth ministry, they are young people. They speak differently. They look at different things. It's different things that interest them than maybe the women's ministry or the cell groups, etc. And we developed platforms for every single one of those ministries, and they were successful. In our time together, I will explain to you and show you exactly how this is done and what channels you should go and distribute your content with. I'll be teaching you how to do the content and how can I maximize what I get out of a specific time that I spend on creating content. So we went on from there and we did women's ministry. We went into the welfare program, and every single platform we developed a platform for them. And I feel confident today that I was to serve you as a pastor or a ministry, that we could look at any facet of your ministry and develop a successful media platform for you to communicate your message to the people that it's intended for. Around the end of last year, I came across this problem, and it's a good problem to have. I had clients asking me for time and I couldn't give them anymore. And the prices that I was charging for my coaching, also I couldn't raise it anymore. So I had this problem where I feel I have a calling to help the body of Christ develop their media platforms to communicate to the people that they are called to. But I also didn't have enough space anymore. And so I came up with a solution. It was God inspired. I'd realized that I have to develop an online platform where I could serve as many people as possible for as little cost as possible and teach them what I know and help them get their media platforms developed to a place where it is perfect and you can reach the right people.